What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Listen, man. So it seems Hernandez Govan, man, the guy that was found not guilty on being conspired to kill Young Dolph, the rapper who got killed a few years ago. And a lot of people saying he was the mastermind, but come to find out, he was found not guilty. But a lot of people in the street say he had something to do with that, even with Big Jug, a young guy, their brother who got killed as well. Crazy situation. So now we see this guy, instead of just getting a normal job, so taking care of your kids, stuff like that, living a normal life. This guy back in jail again for doing something stupid. So I'm gonna react to this video, man, if I end up sentenced by Jake, man. So let's get into it, yo.
Hernandez Govan, the one and only person accused of killing Memphis rapper Young Dolph that actually was acquitted of it in court. Like, he took it all the way to trial and they found him not guilty. This same man has just been indicted by the feds for threatening to shoot up a woman's house who has a kid in the house over $500.
Memphis rapper Young Dolph is now facing new charges.
Hernandez Govan is charged in connection to allegations he threatened an ex-girlfriend last week.
Donning a red jail uniform, something you often see with those considered high profile, was Hernandez Govan Friday. 3 members with the Shelby County Detention Response Team, also known as DRT, a specially trained tactical unit, escorted the 46-year-old into court.
Now, y'all hear what they just said? They had a tactical unit escort him into court. He's wearing a red uniform, which is apparently for high profile cases. Well, why would that be? Because he's about as high profile as you can get. He was connected to killing one of the biggest rappers from Memphis, and he got locked up in Memphis. Guaranteed.
Crazy, because when he was found not guilty, somebody in the news station asked this guy, like, what you going to do? And he said he's going to leave Memphis. You know what I mean? So this guy ended up staying in Memphis, now harassing some woman with her kids over $500. Like, you just got found not guilty from one of the biggest case in Memphis history, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that is crazy. And you can't cinch your tail down. Wow.
He's in protective custody. I mean, that's just what I would assume. I can't say that that's fact, but why else would he have a high custody wristband, a high custody uniform? Because stalking isn't a high custody case. It's because of who he is. And everybody knows, you got one half of Memphis, or at least the majority of Memphis, that fuck with Dolph, and then the rest of them don't. Dolph had his enemies, fair play. But this guy going into the county jail in Memphis, guaranteed it is not safe.
Are charged with harassment and stalking. Each of those offenses dangerous community.
What landed Govan in custody reportedly happened last week. Your news leaders were able to get a copy of the police report filed after Govan's ex-girlfriend called for help. The report summarizes what she alleged happened, causing her to, quote, fear for her safety and the safety of her child. His former girlfriend told police Govan made phone calls and texts threatening to post to social media explicit videos. It's also alleged he threatened to have someone shoot up her home.
Wow. So he about to send pictures of her to the internet? Like, this is a girl you be dating, a girl you've been messing with or whatever, and she, send you naked pictures or whatever, and you gonna put it on the internet? Nigga, dude, you 46 years old. Like, that's some teenager stuff. You know what I mean? High school crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. That is crazy.
After officers and National Guard members reportedly checked the area, it's alleged Govan sent yet another message saying, quote, the National Guard can't save you. They can't be there forever.
Now, how bad do you gotta be for the National Guard to get called in? I don't know if this is like a Memphis thing. I've never heard of the National Guard investigating like a domestic case, right? Or just saying you're gonna go do something. I've never heard of the National Guard getting involved
Because they probably think, like, yeah, this guy, you know what I'm saying? Them cops from Memphis, so they probably think, like, listen, he was found not guilty, but I think he's a killer himself and know people who can kill for him. So that's probably why. That's probably why he high profile as well.
in a case like this. Have any of you, if you have, commented in the comment section, but how bad do you have to be? And then he's like, yo, National Guard can't help you. They can't watch your house forever. That's crazy.
Bond was set at $4,000. Govan left the same way he came, flanked by extra security, headed back to lockup.
Now we're gonna break down the federal paperwork, because originally this case started off as a state case and then the feds took over and indicted him. But like I just told you, $500 is what this case was over. The woman owed him money that he gave her, apparently, allegedly, whatever you want to say. But he allegedly crashed out and had to pay $4,000 just to get out of jail and then get rearrested and indicted by the feds. This is why you shouldn't crash out, because $500 ain't worth it. Now you paying $4,000 a bond. You got to get a lawyer, a whole worse situation when you could have just let that $500 go.
Hernandez Govan, who was acquitted last year in the case connected to the death of Memphis rapper Young Dolph, is out on a $4,000 bond after being arrested on new stalking and harassment charges. Court records show a woman accused Govan of sending threatening calls and messages earlier this month.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, right? When this dude came out, there was so many comments about he looked like a killer, he looked scary, he looked like this and that. And in my personal, humble opinion, it kind of reminds me of what Vaughn was saying about Wooski.
They gonna try to make it seem like he crazy because he ugly. You know, all the ugly people, they try to make them like the toughest people and shit. They try to make all the ugly motherfuckers seem like they super tough and shit, like they super gangster because he ugly and shit. Then he got shot in his head, so now he's stupid, slow.
Now, Graham, this is King Von right here. He's a rapper out of Chicago, and he got killed a few years ago. And a lot of people say this guy, he was killing a lot of people as well in Chicago. It's crazy, but he got killed a couple years ago.
He gets savage. That shit lame. Don't nobody get.
So that's kind of how I think when I look at this dude, right? Because he built like a buff tadpole. Like it's a weird, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just look at him because he's expressionless, but he talks like a regular human being. He bleeds like any man bleeds. And he had some things to say about me when I made a comment on Vlad TV when I was asked about him. And he just, you know, he tries to have this super killer persona, threatening to shoot up everybody and everything and whatever.
Images of this now infamous white Mercedes, Memphis police say was the getaway car used in Young Dolph's murder at Makita's Cookies, has been viewed by millions. The car was found outside this abandoned home on Bradley Street days after the killing in late November. It's the same home seen here in this music video featuring Young Dolph's accused killer, Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop. Court records show 43-year-old Hernandez Govan, who was just indicted in the rap star slaying, along with Johnson and Cornelia Smith, once lived just a few houses down. Neighbors fearing for their lives told us off camera he grew up on the street.
So this is where Hernandez Govan gets all of his aura, if you'll call it that, or at least the mystique behind who he is he's tied in directly to the Dolph murder case. He's the only one that essentially beat the case. And yeah, you know, that's where he gets his name from. This is what he's known for. Other than that, we don't really know shit about him. Now, to just give y'all my honest opinion, I'm not gonna act like this man isn't about whatever he says he's about, because we gotta look at the proof. If you are in your 40s knocking down on 50's doorstep and you're wearing Nike Techs with a shiesty on, trying to look like a new generation killer, because mind you, they weren't looking like that in the 80s or 90s whenever this man grew up. This is some new shit. This is how the new young killers dress, right? That's some New York shit. But if you're in your mid 40s dressing up in a Nike Tech and a shiesty, I want no problems with you, because it just tells me you are the same man you were 30 years ago. You ain't never grew out of that mentality and you're ready to crash. Like, you know it's bad when your influence as a 40, almost 50-year-old man is the kids 30 years younger than you. When you're dressing up like them, you know it's a problem. But Hernandez's most viral moment is literally this right here.
Gentlemen, have you reached the verdict?
Yes.
State of Tennessee versus Hernandez Govan, count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant Hernandez Govan not guilty in count 1 of the indictment. State of Tennessee versus Hernandez Govan, count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant Hernandez Govan not guilty in count 2 of the indictment.
So that right there was, a lot of people thought this guy was going to go to jail because they already knew that he 9 out of 10 knew who the killers was, had something to do with Young Dolph getting killed and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The evidence kind of was there, but the jury found this guy not guilty. So he had some good lawyers. You know what I mean? He has some good lawyers, man. But a lot of people in Memphis, a lot of people around, like, listen, man, you knew these guys. You know you had something to do with it, man. So come on, let's be serious. But hey, the jury found not guilty. So hey.
Now, I'm 1,000% biased. I'm a Young Dolph fan. Whether he did or didn't do it, you can't say he's responsible or had anything to do with it because he beat the case. He was acquitted.
Exactly.
Everything against him, he beat it at trial. The jury sided with him. They did not have enough evidence when he was alleged of orchestrating the entire thing. So he beat this, but again, he kind of used this to get on the Vlad TV, start doing interviews, get on there and do interviews looking like this, and yeah, I got charged with it. Yeah, I beat it. Yeah, I don't care about none of that. I'm from Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming out with this stone cold killer persona. Not to say that he isn't, because again, he's out here wearing Nike Techs and shiesties, but I'm just saying he beat the case. Now, this is a federal criminal complaint charging him with cyber stalking. The statement of probable cause would read, on June 4th, 2026, the Memphis Police Department responded to a domestic call regarding threatening electronic communications. The Memphis Police Department contacted the victim, a woman known as JJ, who had been receiving threatening text messages from Govan since June 3rd, 2026. JJ was in fear of the life of herself and their child, requesting that police officers clear the home to ensure that Govan was not present. The texts were a result of approximately $540 that Govan provided to JJ to pay for a rental car. When there were complications with the booking, Govan told JJ to keep the money. JJ stated to the Memphis Police Department that during a phone conversation with Govan, he had threatened to shoot up JJ's phone.
Damn.
Due to Govan's messages, the Memphis Police Department and the National Guard checked the area at the time of the complaint, where Govan sent a message stating the National Guard can't watch your house all day, LOL. And another message stating, I don't give a fuck about no police, National Guard, or nothing. Now, how much y'all want to bet he had on that Nike Tech that day? Threatening to shoot up your baby mama's house while your kid is inside is crazy. And this is over $540. I guarantee you he's been on Vlad TV, No Jumper, and probably a whole bunch of other smaller YouTube channels. I guarantee you he's getting paid more than $540. He should be able to spend that with no problem. Now I'm gonna read these text messages, and I couldn't show it on screen the way I normally.
And see, that's one thing about, even though he's 46 years old, he still know about technology. Like, come on, man. Like, you're sending these text messages, which is crazy. He's sending these text messages. No, it's going to be kept. Even if you delete the messages, you know what I mean? The government still can get these messages from your phone. It's crazy.
Would, because there's some crazy messages, and not only that, it shows the phone number. So I have to show a blurred out version. But he's basically threatening to post explicit videos of her. In the text, it would clearly state his son is autistic. He's putting it on his son. He's basically accusing her of running off with his money. He's gonna do a YouTube video on her. And then it clearly also states, I don't give a fuck about no police, National Guard, or nothing. Show them this message. Well, that's exactly what she did, and now you're indicted by the feds. He'd follow up with, I really thought highly of you, for real. Never struck me as the type of person that would literally put their son's livelihood in danger about $540. But she's really not. Apparently you told her to keep the money.
Exactly.
Now you're threatening to shoot her whole crib up, and you're saying, I can't believe you're gonna make me come and shoot up your house with my kid inside because you don't want to give me my money. What? You gotta be on drugs to literally call me 10 times, beg me to send my money, and then you take it. You would have been better off robbing Michael Myers than taking my money. That's for my son's meds. All I wanted was my money back. I'm a real street ninja. What I look like beefing with a female. More importantly, what I look like letting a hoe take $500 that's needed for my son medicine. Take this how you want to take it, but I will do life in prison with a smile about my motherfucking son well-being. I hope that don't go over your head. I hope you sleep good. Well, if I'm just being fair in this situation, if you only had $500, why would you send her the $500 if you desperately need the $500 for your son's medication? Now, I agree you're mad about the money and you're now saying it's for your son, but why would you send it? And then saying she's better beefing with Michael Myers? That's what I'm saying.
This guy, he's probably damn bipolar or something like that. I don't know. Like, you send her the money, you know your son need this money. Why you send her the money for? Like, that is crazy. And now he's tripping, threatening to kill a girl. Wow.
He's putting out the persona, look, I am a serial killer. I will get you gone. I will do this and that. I don't care about the police. Well, she called them and they called backup, National Guard, and then they got the feds, and now it's all coming down on you. Now, I can't show the rest of these texts because they're very explicit. And he's basically threatening to, post it all over social media of her doing things with people. And he says, I hope you turn it into 5 million. You gonna need it tonight. We making the news today. Now, a sergeant of the Memphis Police Department provided information that Govan had given JJ approximately $500 for a rental because Govan was having difficulties procuring one. JJ also had difficulties with a rental car and offered to give Govan his money back. As a result, he began harassing her through cell phone communications. She was in fear of her life. Govan has taken action with the intent to harass and intimidate using his cell phone, which is a facility of interstate commerce, to engage in a course of conduct that placed her in fear, in reasonable fear of death or serious bodily injury. His actions attempted to cause, did cause, and could cause substantial emotional distress. Now, cyber stalking itself doesn't really seem like that big of a deal. The punishment federally is up to 5 years in a federal prison. But the most serious aspect of this case is him, the person. He was acquitted of a murder, beat a murder case, did a whole bunch of interviews talking about crazy things. They robbed T.I., melted his chain down. Like, he talked about a lot of different things he was allegedly involved in. And he's straight up telling this girl, you were better off robbing Michael Myers than playing with me. I will shoot up that crib, this and that. He's giving off this killer persona in every single interview. Shorty has a decent case because she's just gonna be like, look at how he carries himself. Look at the type of way he wants to be seen. He's dressing up in a Nike Tech with a shiesty on, threatening to blow down my house with my kid inside. Now, how do I think this case is gonna go? I mean, I don't think they need any more evidence than they already have. You know what I'm saying? It's all in text, it's in phone calls, they have the voicemails. Obviously, we're not gonna be able to see or hear that, but the feds have it. And this is a Fed case. And if he was stressing $540, I don't know how much money he's gonna have to get a federal lawyer to fight this. So it sounds like he might be on his way to federal prison. And if he's still being housed in Memphis, in the Memphis County Jail, it's very likely he's on protective custody because of the threat on his life. Dolph had a lot of fans. Dolph had a lot of friends. And he's in Memphis where Young Dolph was killed. So regardless of if he beat the case, that's good for society, but in the streets and in jail, just his mere involvement can cause someone to do something to him. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comments.
Yeah, that's crazy right there, man. Shout out to Jake, man. YouTube channel, man, called End Up Sinners. I watch most of his stuff. Pretty good content creator. Listen, man, this Govan guy, man, he's wild. You know what I mean? You do something like that. He seemed like the message that he'd been texting her, it seemed like he's untouchable. You know what I mean? Talking about he don't care about the police, care about the National Guard and stuff like that. But dude, you might do some time. Like, you really might go sit down. And like Jake said, like, there's a lot of people who's a fan of Young Dolph, and a lot of, even though you was found not guilty, a lot of people still think you had something to do with his death. So the people in prison might end up trying to touch him. You know what I mean? Not saying that what happened, or do I want that? No. But I'm just saying, like, in general, prison is wild. And just how he was talking to these text messages and stuff like that, over $500 that you gave her, but you needed some medicine for your son. Like, that's crazy. Your first priority should have been the medicine for your son. Then, if whatever money you had left over, maybe give her. But you tripling this right here is crazy, man. But listen, that's all I got for now, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this whole situation, yo. Don't forget to like and subscribe.